Hey cuties, PeachY here, welcome back to a new video, and in this video we have some very exciting stuff to look at, from concept art for the live action movie to the earlier versions like prototypes for the now new Monster High dolls and the official release date for Holiday Draculaura and more. Stay tuned and let's get into it. Also, thanks to Give Me More Dolls on Instagram for tagging me in this picture. But so basically what happened is that the director for the live action movie, they posted these pictures where you could see the concept art for the actors, and we could also see a little peek of the early versions of the new dolls. So that's what happened basically, and that happened over the weekend. So here we have Frankie, for instance, like the actor CC, and then like what they would have looked like, that concept art for like the actor, and then of course the doll as well. We'll get into the dolls later, but now let's just focus on like the actual like early stages of like how the actors could have looked like. Here is is this CC? Is this like a younger version of CC? I'm not sure. I don't recognize them almost. It's like you can tell like that's how unrecognizable it really is, the whole process of like this designing of like the concept art and stuff. Like, how do you properly translate that to live action? Because like, I mean, it's really not easy. So that was Frankie in like the early stages of like what they were thinking they could go with, and I mean, we did end up with like a very similar look, so that was very accurate. Here's Draculaura, and I feel like she had more changes. Like in the early concept art, the hairstyle was completely different, and so it was a little bit different with the earrings as well. The bangs were kind of like on point, but here you can also tell, again, this is Naya, I'm not sure, but you can tell like the makeup was actually, it stayed that way. They kept the yellow makeup kind of design there, and they just kept it without the like little pigtails on the top. They just kept it like all one piece. That's it. So that's, I guess, the only change that really happened. Here we have Claudine, the early concept art. It's kind of like similar. I mean, the glasses are still there, and I think the hairstyle is maybe a little bit different. It's like the hair is a little bit more curly, like in tight curls. And in the finalized version, like here we can see, I think this is Mia, like a photo of Mia. The curls became a little bit looser, you know, a little bit like not as tight. And they ended up, I'm not even sure, did they give her freckles in the movie? I think they might have, but they were very faint. And they didn't end up giving her like the tooth, the under tooth like peeking out. I guess they couldn't like find a good way to do that. That makes sense, because like on the dolls, they can just paint on the two teeth peeking out, you know, the sharp teeth. But like for live action, like on actual people, like it's just very hard to translate having two teeth specifically always be out, always be showing. It's just not very easy. So they scrapped that idea, but they still gave her the sharp teeth, like with Draculaura. They're just not always visible. But they also kept the eye makeup with the inner corner, the, you know, eyeliner. I love that little touch, and also the yellow eyes, of Here course. We have Deuce. Now in this early concept art, the hairstyle, you know, for the snakes was very similar to the dolls hairstyle. The sunglasses were much darker, and then when they had cast, you know, Case Walker as the actor to play Deuce, they even had this kind of like early testing version of him being like having green skin, like with the doll. But you know, if you've seen the movie, you know that Deuce doesn't have green skin in the movie, but you know, his new version of the doll does have green skin. So I guess they couldn't like accurately do that, or like, you know, translate that. Even with the hair too, like here we can see the snakes are like, instead of like them being like to one side, they are slicked back, and I feel like that actually looks really cool. It's like a completely new like hairstyle for Deuce and his snakes. I feel like that would have been a really nice look, and I even saw someone customize the actual like snakes on Deuce's doll, like and reshape them into a way, reposition them that they look that way. It's really neat. I really feel like they should do this and like try new hairstyles out for Deuce with his snakes, because I feel like that could be a really fun way to express new hairstyles and new designs and new outfits, you know. Here we have Cleo's concept art for, you know, like the actor when they didn't know who they had cast yet. It really fascinating to see these early depictions, because the hairstyle is different. She's wearing like a headband, and like the makeup's completely different. She also has like more of like a yellowish undertone skin tone, like it's goldish yellow. And on the doll, like right there, you can see that she has bangs, and she doesn't really look like the concept art really. And but even when they had cast, you know, the actress G, doesn't really look that way, you know. And even the hairstyle is completely different. So they kept the bangs for the early version of the doll, but even that they scrapped later on to give her like more of a hairstyle like here with the concept art. But then for the movie, they gave her bangs. So it's very confusing how they mix those styles up, and they didn't really come to a conclusion for one definitive hairstyle for like the doll, the movie, live action movie depiction, and like the series. Like it's all kind of like mixed up. Lastly, we have Laguna blue, and look, y'all, she is a blue here. Yes, so she was blue at one point in production, you know, but I guess you know, after they did some tests, you know, they found out that she should have a little bit of a makeover, and they gave her pink instead. So yeah, I mean, but at least we know now that she was supposed to stay blue, but I guess it worked better if she had pink. I'm sure that it had something to do with like the demographic of kids. Maybe they just liked her pink more. So yeah, I don't know what it was, but it's very fascinating to see here that she was literally going to be blue. She was going to stay blue. So anyways, the hairstyle, everything else looks exactly the same, but look at this picture here with the teeth, the sharp teeth that we saw the shots in the trailer, the infamous shot where it looks horrible, the CGI. I'm so sorry, but it looks horrible. And this image here with the teeth, like the big it's gonna haunt me, girl. It's creepy. Jesus Christ. So but yeah, that is her piranha mode, I guess. It's super funny. Also just really cool to see here with like the pastel colors. They really went with pastel for her hair color. It's really interesting. Next up, we have pictures compiled by Monster High Love Me, so credit to them. So, but these are the same pictures. But yeah, this is kind of it was very exciting to see these first looks at the concept art with also the prototype version of the dolls, you know, like how they used to look like. And I guess, you know, they do look very different. You know, Laguna, I feel like she sticks out the most because she's blue. She was blue and now she's pink. And then Cleo, she had bangs, and then she didn't have bangs, and now she doesn't have bangs again. It's, yeah, her bangs, no bangs. It's like the doll, but the doll herself with the bangs, I'm living for that look. And then Deuce, you know, with the green skin tone, not translating to live action, and also the different hairstyles. I really wish that they had given him the slicked back look. I really, now that I've seen it with this concept art, and also like I mentioned, the customized version that I've seen floating around, it looks so good. Claudine, it kind of stayed the same. Claudine looked basically like she did in the movie. Oh, they didn't give her the painted nose though. That's what they didn't give her. So they didn't give her, like with the doll, you know, like her nose is painted. Like she doesn't have that in the actual movie. So I guess they didn't keep that in. That's interesting. Draculaura, she really was like the same. I feel like the eye makeup just got like more elevated, and then the hairstyle was more simplified, you know, with like no longer like the high ponytails, which I mean does look really cute. And I do think she still has like her little birthmark heart on the cheek in the movie. Does she still have that? I think so. And then Frankie, basically the same. Frankie looks exactly the same like in the movie. Really glad with that. Frankie was just, I probably think Frankie was like the easiest translation, just because they knew what they wanted to do for Frankie, which is always good. And now let's talk about the actual dolls. So starting off with Frankie, Frankie looks exactly the same like we saw the other early version of Frankie, but now they have like kind of like a bluish tint. They used to be gray, now they're blue, and the hairstyle is pretty much the same. The outfit looks to be different. It's very curious how they changed up the outfit and the face sculpt, because the face sculpt did change remarkably, like the lips especially. And then with Draculaura, the hairstyle really changed a lot. The side glance was added in later. As you can see here, the earlier version did not have a side glance, but then they gave her one, and they gave her a more simple hairstyle, and also just a completely, again, different face sculpt. I feel like most of these face sculpts for the earlier prototypes look very round. Is it just me? They kind of look very round around the chin. It's just like very round face shape. Then Claudine Claudia looks very much the same like in the earlier prototype version. I feel like maybe the lips are a little bit different, more plump. Maybe no freckles here. But the hairstyle is the same glasses. For Laguna, you know, when she was still blue, she had blue eyebrows, blue eyes, blue lips. I feel like a lot of blue. The pink eyeshadow kind of works, but I really do prefer a pink Laguna looking at this one, because I just feel like the colors complement each other a little bit more. The blue in her hair, I just feel like it makes her look like too much blue. So I feel like the pink works a little bit better with the color pastels, the pastel colors that they were aiming for with the hair and the outfit. But she also has 2 hair clips here on each side instead of just one, so that's also something that changed. Otherwise, the hairstyle is really the same. Cleo, I really like this version. I love the little headdress that she has on. I love the bangs. I love the mixture of dark blue and black. I like the face sculpt for her, the lips, the makeup, even the little wing that like it's peeking out of her like on the back. I don't know what that is, but I like it. I like her outfit that she's wearing, what we can see. I really hope that they bring out this Cleo sooner or later, or at least just like something that looks like this Cleo, because she looks so good. Like honestly, like really slaying it here. With Deuce, I'm really shook because he looks the same. He's probably the only one who really looks the same like the prototype doll. Maybe the tint or the hue of the green is a little bit different on this skin tone for him, but overall I think the face mold is maybe even the exact same one. I feel like it looks exactly the same like the one we have for the final version of Deuce. Maybe the sunglasses are a little bit more you know, translucent here. They're not as dark, not as you know, they're not as like matte as like the finished finalized version. And maybe the lips here on him are also not as yellow like on the finalized version. On here on this prototype version, it's really like more yellow tinted. I feel like those are like the only things that really changed. The hair, I mean the snakes look the same. They're the same pose, same style, so that hasn't changed. So I feel like overall Deuce maybe just looks, the face maybe changed a little bit like the width of the face isn't like as wide. Otherwise, I don't really see any difference in this prototype doll of Deuce. It was really fun to see these early versions of the dolls, because it really shows you that there's a lot of stages to finalizing a product. Now, thanks to Monster News on Instagram, we also have another look at like a storyboard or like a vision board of some sorts for concept art and like just how Frankie's gonna look like in the live action movie. And amongst all these pictures for ideas, we have a full look at a prototype Frankie, so like the one we just saw, but here it does look like Frankie's more gray, so like maybe the older version, but the outfit is basically the same. The only difference here is that it's more dark and gloomy. It's not as neon, and I heard people say that, you know, they prefer this like, you know, more gothic take and like dark take on the outfit. But I honestly feel like the neon works for Frankie. Really, it also makes sense because Frankie would be a little bit neon, right? They would be a little bit colorful because they're new. They just came into the world. They're experimenting with colors. Like, it makes sense to me. So their outfit being all black and like gloomy and, you know, gothic is like, it's cool. Like, it's more like DG1, but we got to remember G3 is a separate thing from the first generation of Monster High. It's a separate thing. It's not going to look like G1, of course not. So I much more prefer the neon or just more colorful version of that we did end up getting with Frankie. Also, some news, thanks to Mordecai Wolfgang for noticing this. I think in the latest Claudia 9 video, they pointed out that Generation 1 of Monster High is gonna be in the same universe as this new generation of Monster High. So there is gonna be a multiverse. How they're gonna incorporate the original ghouls into the new world with the new ghouls, I don't know, but it is gonna happen. It has been confirmed. Go watch your video for more information, I guess. And also, we're gonna get a new system where fans can vote for the new collector dolls for Monster High, similarly to like what Barbie does. So that's really lastly, the Draculaura Holiday Collector Edition doll is officially dropping on the 18th of October at select retailers, as they put it on the caption under the post that they posted on Instagram. So it's gonna be, I guess, yeah, fully released in stores, like in actual stores, or maybe just online. I'm not sure. I think you're gonna be able to buy them in stores. If this doll is gonna be available worldwide is another question. I'm not sure. And I also wanted to show here at Eo Marcello on Instagram made this really nice edit of the doll, kind of like pimped up the outfit a little bit, you know, like styled it up a little bit more. I definitely love this version a little bit, like a lot more. The hairstyle is more interesting. The dress has layers, like it just looks more interesting. So I seeing this edit makes me feel like, oh yeah, the actual doll is very simple. But on the actual doll, thanks to Cleo's Nile here on Instagram as well, they got the doll and they show here that you can actually also kind of like mix and match the different pieces that she does come with. So that's also still cool. And I feel like the base doll is really nice, like the hair and the face up is really nice. So I think she's still gonna sell very well. But yeah, that was the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to give me a big thumbs up if you did. Leave me any thoughts or questions you may have down below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss out when I post more Monster High doll news, doll reviews, episode reaction videos, and a bunch more content coming your way daily and keeping you updated with the doll tea you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time stay peachy. Kisses.